Main Street, the Great Divide. Main Street is one of the major streets in Buffalo. It is also a line of segregation, which is due to redlining. Approximately 85% of people who identify as black in Buffalo live east of Main Street.
It is depicted not only by differences in housing stock and uniform sidewalks, green spaces, and trees, but also by the street names. Jewett to the west of Main is Parkway, and Jewett to the east of Main is Avenue.
Redlining, the denial of financial services to a resident of a neighborhood based on race or income directly or by charging higher rates.
Redlining is a government-sponsored system of segregation that began as a federal policy in 1937. The government refused to insure mortgages in communities with minority residents.
On this residential security map, you can see the red lines in different sections. Red lines aren't just in Buffalo, they're all over America.
The federal government's Home Owners Loan Corporation created residential security maps for major American cities. The maps used a color-coded system, and the color of your neighborhood determined if you were loan worthy or not. These maps were graded into 4 categories, based mostly on their racial makeup. Neighborhoods with minority occupants were marked in red, hence the redlining, or in yellow. Neighborhoods with white occupants often lived in green or blue neighborhoods.
Redlining became illegal in 1968 when the government put out the Fair Housing Act.
So the Fair Housing Act, it's a federal law that was first passed in 1968. And really it was passed in response to the awful assassination of Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. And as a result, the nation, which had been struggling as a result of all this segregation and redlining, discrimination and inequality that had been going on and continues to go on, but folks were just fed up with it. And when we lost Dr. King, the country exploded. People were understandably just had it. They were, beyond frustrated, and that exploded in violence. And the country finally started saying, oh, this is actually a problem. We might have to do something about these issues. And, not long after, the Fair Housing Act was passed.
The Federal Fair Housing Act made it illegal to deny someone housing based on race, color, or national origin.
Segregation is one of the many consequences of redlining. Buffalo Niagara is the 6th most segregated metropolitan area in the nation. Although the law made redlining illegal, it did not resolve Buffalo's segregation problems.
The idea of separate but equal, where it's fine if everybody's separate, but we'll have equal things, which is really never the case. I mean, if you look at because a lot of wealth is sectioned off in different communities, and if that wealth isn't shared, then other people can't get at it. You know what I mean? So if you look at these schools in the suburbs, and these and not all, don't take it on saying it's all, in some of these predominantly white affluent communities, they have more money and they have more resources and they have more access to things than people in some of these other communities. Not that communities of color don't have resources or don't have cultural wealth or these different kinds of values, but if we're talking about money, that's a big part of it.
Segregation is not the only consequence of redlining. According to the Federal Reserve, white families today have nearly 10 times the net worth of black families and more than 8 times that of Hispanic families. Nearly 2/3 of neighborhoods deemed hazardous are inhabited by minority residents, while 91% of areas categorized as best are upper to middle income and 85% of them are mostly white. Another consequence of redlining is the continuation of redlining. Evans Bank was ordered to pay $825,000 to settle claims that it denied mortgages to African American neighborhoods on the east side of Buffalo. This didn't happen in 1937. It happened in 2015.
And make loans in other communities of comparable socioeconomic status. The only difference being race. So it is in our job in the Office of the Attorney General and working with our colleagues who are standing with us today to ensure that this sort of discriminatory practice does not go on in the state of New York. I honestly never thought I would get to bring a redlining case, or I would have to bring a redlining case, because this is a problem we thought we'd put behind us a couple of decades ago. It is really unfortunate that a bank would resort to this sort of a practice, and it is up to our office to seek to enforce the law and apply equal justice under law across the state. We will not tolerate racial discrimination in the state of New York, and we have to be very clear about that.
If you have questions about redlining or know of someone who has been unfairly denied housing, please call Housing Opportunities Made Equal at 716-854-1400.